The disciples had forgotten to bring bread, except for one loaf they had with them in the boat. I don't mean to correct the scripture, but there were actually 2 loaves in the boat. One of them was the bread they could see. Be careful, Jesus warned them. Watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees and that of Herod. He is warning them against the seemingly insignificant compromises that corrode your faith. Watch out, he said. Your words are significant. Your habits are significant. Your friendships are significant. Watch out for that yeast. And when he said yeast, they thought about bread. And they discussed this with one another and said, it is because we have no bread. They still didn't get it. They saw him do it, and they still didn't get that he was it. They're still worried about provision. You're still worried about bills. You're still worried. We're still thinking on the level of what we can see. Jesus, aware of their discussion, asked them a question. Why are you talking about having no bread? Why are you worrying about something that I've already worked out? Why are you doubting something that you've already seen me do so many times before? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see and ears but fail to hear? Do you still hear Laurel when it's really Yanny? And don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? 12, they replied. When I read that, I thought the significance of the miracle was in the numbers. 5 is the number of grace in the Bible. It represents grace, it's symbolic. 12 disciples, 12 tribes, the number of government. So I thought it was about the numbers, but then verse 20 says, when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? And then I said, well, 7's the number of completion. And 4,000, really, I can't really do anything with that. They answered 7. He said, do you still not understand? And then I read it again, verse 19. When I broke, and then I read verse 20. When I broke, and I realized the significance of the miracle is that the bread had to be broken. They wouldn't understand this really until he went to the cross. They ate the bread, but they did not understand the significance until he was crushed for our transgressions and bruised for our iniquities, because the bread couldn't be given until it was broken. When you are in a breaking season of your life and you are being broken of your pride and your stubbornness and your opinions, and you're straining against the wind, it is easy to begin to believe that it is going to break you, but God will not allow life to break you. That's his job. And when you're in his hands, like the song said, prepare that chorus of Do It Again. We're going to sing it. I'm still in your hands. We're going to sing that. And we're going to understand that the lesson of the loaves is not that everybody went home with a full belly. The lesson of the loaves is this: the end of your story is not that you are broken. The end of the story is the basketfuls. This story does not end in brokenness. This story ends with leftovers. I want to let you know today, this is significant. God is not done with you. I said, God is not done with you. I'm preaching this word for somebody who's been straining against the wind. Grace is coming to your boat. The bread is in the master's hands. And the bread was only broken to be given. Lift your hands in the presence of God, no one moving. This is my confidence. that He is faithful.
Faithfulness, I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Faithfulness, I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Faithfulness, I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail.
Listen, here's what you do. You take what you learned from the loaves and you remember it in the storm. You take the basket full from the last time that God provided for you, and the next time the wind begins to rage in your life, you remember that if Jesus is in this boat with me, if I draw near to God, He will draw near to me. And as we worship Him as the Son of God today, the wind has to die down. Anxiety has to shut its mouth in the presence of God, because we know who He is and we've seen what He's done. We have faith for what He's gonna do. Does anybody believe He's with you in this season?